Emmanuel I, Bobo Shanti original. Yes.
I is humbled to have on the panel today Ras Ibi and Ital Rastafari once again to reason about Ital living. Yes, the panel of today is find peace through your approach to food and lifestyle. So welcome once again. This is the House of Rastafari. Iqulah, Ras Ibi, yes I. Majesty blessings, one and all, one and all, one and all. It is important to say that every year I panels concerning Rastafari Livity are amongst those that get more attention and more participation. It's so beautiful to see that when it comes to food and way of life and health and healing process, people look at not religion, not this, not that, and people even take their own time off their schedule from the beach, from the party and so forth to come here and ask and listen. So, why is this happening? Why is it that in this world, in this now age, people is looking for always more guidance when it comes to the vitality, to the natural living? Ital Rastafari, welcome on board.
Here is Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, and I do give thanks and full balance in creation and person. Yes, I. When it comes to vitality, vitality does not only mean temporary. The Rastaman speaks of vitality, but we also talk about the spiritual pinnacle of vitality. So the thing about it now is that we know for a fact that what you eat is what you are. So the Rastaman know that earth is guided by all natural laws, and closer to nature is closer to the Almighty. Jah Rastafari, ever living, ever faithful, ever sure. So I go to Mama Earth, you know. Yes, sir, and I go to Mama Earth because we know that when we start to show Mama Earth love, see, the earth show I love by responding to the energy. And it's very important to know that cultivation and planting is not just take a seed and just put it in the earth. See, yeah, it's frequencies. You know, you have to know if it's tap into the source. Because a bridging over there can plant something and I man plant something, and the two of them come out with different results. It all depends on the amount of vibes and the energy you put into the plant and the whole plantation. See, so vitality is the highest form of Rastafari. Now we say we take it to the pinnacle, both temporally and both spiritually. See, Rastafari live. Blessed I.
So you see these two men here. You see the two Rastaman then. They are both teachers, farmers, chef, doctors, specialists. All kind of titles we could give. And I say this from direct experience. Ras Ibi has been also, and he is still my teacher when it comes to natural medicine, traditional Chinese medicine, ear acupressure and so forth. So Ras Ibi is very, very knowledgeable when it comes to natural healing process, healing techniques. He goes from herbs to massage to acupuncture, Chinese medicine, and you name it. So I truly give thanks because through the guidance of Ras Ibi, my eyes were open to many things, reasoning and learning from this man in his yard in Shashamani, and I have to share this with the people. It's not only something that we talk on theory. We have lived it and we have experienced it, and what Ras Ibi can teach and what Ras Ibi can suggest to you, boy, it works. I can tell you, man. So Ital Rastafari is a farmer from ever since, farmer from creation. Ital Rastafari has ignited a farming revolution in Jamaica when he was little more than a child. Yes, Ital Rastafari, if you lend him your kitchen for a couple of hours and you come back after, you don't know what you're gonna find. You don't really know what you're gonna find. You won't believe it. Yeah. This man here can cook all kind of stuff without salt, without chemicals. Still, you have all the flavors, like you put salt and flavorings and things, but everything comes from the earth, So why I'm saying this is not to blow our own trumpet to say that, hey, we have the big people at the House of Rastafari. It's to say that is through direct experience and livity that we can testify that the teachings when it comes to natural medicine and way of life and inner balance, they absolutely work. And not only they work, but they have the power to transform life. So when you sit and talk to a Rastaman, which has the power of inner wisdom and the capacity of utterance according to the inspiration of the Divine Majesty, 10 minutes can change your life. 10 minutes can purge you of all the toxins, the toxicity, the bloody meditation that we were talking yesterday about. Can just purge you and you will be clean. You won't even know how that happens. It's like, hey, what's going on here? You feel like you walk in mid-air. But walking mid-air is one of the characteristics of the people which is light, clean, and Ital, vital in spirits. And I'm sure that you have seen both of them. They don't walk very heavy. So, Ras Ibi, welcome on the board today.
Humbly giving thanks and praise once again to be here with our wonderful people in our House of Rastafari here. Yes, the subject is food, and not just any type of food, but Ital food. And like Ras Iqulah is showing that Ital has many dimensions to it. It's not just what you eat, it's how you eat it and thing. But I think people in this time getting aware that food has a very, very great impact upon a person. The food we eat can either raise our vibration or it can lower our vibration. When we lower our vibration, that means our thought patterns is more negative, we are more susceptible to diseases, etc., etc., to negative mind states. When we lift up our irids through food, because we are dealing with Ital food here, then we can reach heights which is there for everyone who, especially if we take a fast and, purge and change a little bit our food habits, that can lift us to very much clarity. Like any problem usually man have in his life in terms of decision making, or we end up in front of something that we don't know exactly how we're going to handle, even a 24-hour, 1-hour day fast, or just drink water, the problem will come by itself. It's not really complicated. So it's there right around the corner. So we know the food can lift our vibration or it can lower our vibration. It's not just about a full in a stomach like you have a car engine and you topping up with petrol to be able to drive. Energy is very much things, it's not just what we eat, it's how we eat it, because we're Rasta saying we eat with reverence, with reverence. We love to have peace when we sit down and eat. We love to give thanks to the one who created it, the ones who planted it, who farmed it, who transported it, who cook it for I and I. There's so much to give thanks for. So the mind state also in this thing of what we eat in help to lift the vibration to where we want to be, where is our rightful place, Rastafari.
And and also to strengthen the vibration, like Ras Ibi just chant about, You see, it's very interesting to see that the Rastaman that goes through the tickles and the thorns and try to live a life dwelling on the plains of nature. And when they see that the multinational corporations see that the Rastaman life is such a simple life and unique life, and the food that the Rastaman consume maintains health on a high scale, the multinational corporations now decided to creep in on vitality and call it veganism. See? And they come now and they start to invest a lot of money now to say, okay, they are providing vegan, but Itality is different from vegan. Straight, Itality is different from vegan because we make sure that we have our seed banks, see? And our seeds are original seedlings that we grow for our Itality. We make sure that when we're planting our food, we don't use chlorine water to water our plants. You know, see it, we coming from the spring. You know what I'm saying? So the multinational corporations see where they can capitalize on the Rastafari movement. And they start to come now with the vegan this and the vegan that. But at the same time, when you check the labels on their produce, it's like some have 45% sodium, this and that, and it's still killing the people and still letting the people blood pressure raise. When we talk about Itality, we eliminate salt. See? We eliminate that because we know our food combinations. See? The most important thing in your kitchen is to make sure that you have proper food combinations, that you can create the balance. Now, in Babylon school, they teach us that protein and iron needs to be broken down to amino acids to be digested. Right? But the Rastaman doesn't have to go through that. The Rastaman don't take, see, the secondary protein. The Rastaman go to the primary stage and go straight to the vegetation and get straight amino acids. Let's work on the temple. See? And I tell you something. Look at I today. Yeah, I'm healthy. I play football. I run 5 miles every morning, everything. Yeah, I see the vibes? See? And I don't eat from Babylon pepper pot soup. Rastafari live. Isis.
Yes, I. Give thanks, yes. So, it's getting very interesting here. Very interesting. So, we're talking about food and peace, yeah? I mean, when it comes to food, we could talk about so many aspects of foods. There is vitamin and protein, there is energy, vibration, so many things. So we have to find one little window through which we are looking at food. So it's food and peace, peace and food. How can we create more peace in our lives through the intake of food? In other words, how can we utilize our food in the best way so that the result will be a more peaceful life, a more happy experience of existence? Ras Ibi.
Thanksgiving. Yeah, we know that, for instance, when people choose to eat dead flesh, and they call it meat, right? We know the original meat is fruits. That's fruit meat is the original meat. Now, if people choose to full take and partake of killing of animals and eating food, they must be aware that this creates certain mental states in the person, because an animal is very aware that it's going to be slaughtered. You buy it, you have it 2 weeks tied up outside your home, and he see you sharpening your sword, and they know exactly what's going to happen. So the time when you finally chop that neck, whether it's whatever kind of blessings you chant, is all that frustration, that anger, that fear in that animal. We go out through the bloodstream into all parts of that animal. So full taking of that animal now and that flesh will create certain feelings within a man. And we know that it creates more meat eating, creates a higher percentage and more creation of adrenaline in the body or in the goodie. Adrenaline is something that I cannot smell it. Human beings in general cannot smell adrenaline, but animals are very, very keen. They smell this. And if you ever had a little encounter with a dog, for instance, could have been a small dog when you were small, and you are afraid of dogs, and you pass through an animal there, and she feel it, and when he feel it, and he's gonna bark on you, because he feel that you are scared. I through life experience know that we are amongst wild animals. Wild animals never do no trouble. It's wild people do give I trouble, you know. So we are not fear of a wild animal. And myself, I have lived quite with a lot of wild animals, and they never trouble I. And they know the birds in my yard, everybody who is born, they know that I don't eat them. So they don't have a trouble with I. Rastafari. So we know that the food, the combinations of food and what we eat, it really, really has an impact upon a person, you know, and what we drink and how we deal with it. Give thanks.
Yes, Ras Ibi. strength, from strength to strength. Yes, what is a very important thing for I and I as a people? I know that the financial strain might be heavy for a person. We're talking about cultivation. The financial strain might be heavy because we have to be practical. For a person to go and purchase a piece of land to say, okay, I'm going to start a farm tomorrow morning. The Rastas are saying, let us farm tomorrow morning. All right? But you don't have to find the money, okay, to start the cultivation from within. That's the first stage of a cultivation. If you're thinking about doing a farm on the external level, yes, I know it might be expensive, but you don't have to pay nothing to start to work with yourself. Yourself, start the cultivation from it. The way you think, the way you move, what you consume, and all these things. So start the cultivation there. That's practicality, Rastafari.
Aye. Did we ever ask ourselves why, as human beings, we have the necessity to eat? Why? I mean, we could have been created without this imperative necessity. Sometimes, it could be like even heavy on you because you have to eat 2-3 times a day. Maybe you're busy doing something, maybe you don't want to eat, maybe, no, you have to eat. You cannot go too long without eating. So why? Why does human being need to eat? The science answer would be, because the human body needs the vitamins, the proteins, and all the elements that will combine and give you strength and energy and so forth. All right, we give thanks for the science, and we love the science. But there is also a mystical interpretation of eating. When we eat, we intake vegetables. Vegetables that we eat and chew, they become part of our structure. It's a full blending process. It is through the chewing, it is through the digestion that the vegetables and the fruit and all the proteins and vitamins, they become part of us. What is this all about? The answer is elevation. When we consume the greens, the fruit, the vegetables, the seeds and the nuts and so forth, we are elevating this creation, because we are allowing creation, the plants, the greens, to stop being only plants and greens and leaves, but becoming full life. And we utilize that life in order to make good deeds and kind action in the world. So in this process, we are not just consuming like if you go into a supermarket, you open a box, you take food and eat, you pay your dollar and you eat and you go. This is not eating in the traditional way, in the mystical, in the original and natural way. Eating is a process of elevation. When you eat, you elevate, you uplift creation. Because a plant, if you don't eat it, you cut it, you leave it there, it will go dry, it will dry out. So it has not functioned its purpose. So when you eat the plant and it's still alive and you allow the plant to become your own life, then you are implementing the process of fullness within this creation. And you become one with the plants, with the natural world. So food is truly elevation. There is a chain process in creation which is guided by this demand of elevation. We need to elevate, we need to uplift so that everything can become, everything can find its own purpose and everything can finalize its own purpose. That's why when we eat properly, we allow creation to become bigger throughout our experience of food. So we become a vessel, we become an instrument for this entire project, which is the fulfillment in creation. This is a very peaceful way to look at your dinner on your table. Don't just munch and consume. Don't be a consumer. Be an elevator. Be an uplifter. So that your process of food, your habit of food will become sacred. It will be like a prayer. In fact, that's why I say that it's always good to give a blessing before to consume food. Ital Rastafari. Blessed love.
I do give thanks, Ras Julio, from strength to strength, seeing? Yes. You're talking about consuming food. It's very important and crucial also for chewing your food. A lot of people just cut and swallow, and that's very terrible. The next thing that is so terrible within eating is eating and drinking at the same time. Eating and drinking at the same time can be very detrimental, because what happens, you know that you have the acids in the stomach need to work on that food, see, and do the separation to go in the various part that it's supposed to go. But when you eat and drink at the same time, you keep floating the food, so the acid in the stomach does not get to work on the food, so people suffer from indigestion. Guys, see? So it's best to eat and wait for at least a half an hour, then you drink something. So eating it, as the brethren say, it's not just eating and just consuming, you know. And the timing is important also. A lot of people likes to eat, say, oh, I can't lose the weight around my stomach, you know, I can't lose it, I exercise, but they are eating 11 o'clock in the night, 10 o'clock in the night, and eating late and go to bed with a heavy tummy. You know what I'm saying? So you're creating more fat because the acid does not get to work on the food to do the separation. Do you see? So it's important. Eating is an art. So what the Rastaman is saying today, be careful what you do, because you can be just eating yourself to death. Rastafari, blessings.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah, you see this thing of not drinking while you're eating, essential, very, very important. I didn't know this thing.
Very important.
About 20 years back, I was sitting with this man. I don't remember where. Yeah. Somewhere in the world where we catch up. So I was sitting with the elder, and the elder teach me this. But I never know that before. So I was like eating, drinking. So it's 2 mouthful, you know, a little sip, 2 mouthful, some water. But there was something that it wasn't right to I. It just wasn't right to me. So I remember that day, afternoon, in which Ras Iqulah tell me, never drink while you're eating. I say, elder, why? Because it is not a nice vibration. Yeah. From that moment, I never drink again when we eat. And sometimes I sit at the table with some people, it's like, oh, you're not drinking? Yeah. Why are you not drinking? Drink, and feel. And so I'm all right. I will drink after. After when? When? We eating, man. We'll be done soon. When are you gonna drink? No, later. But later, how later? In how much time? Minimum half an hour. So that is fundamental. See?
Or if one feels thirsty before eating, drink a half an hour before, a glass or two, then eat. Yeah, there's a lot of things with this food thing, innit?
Lot of things. And next.
Come in.
A next crucial and important thing.
Yeah, come.
A next crucial and important thing also is that I don't know if you ever heard about the digging your grave with your own teeth. That's what the elder Rastaman used to say to I and I. Why are you digging your grave with your own teeth?
Yes.
Yeah, and these are the things, you know, you have to make sure that you eat, relax yourself, be positive, even in your consuming of the food, relax, and then you can drink. It's so crucial, you know, because you don't want to be digging your grave with your own teeth.
The next thing again, very important, the pot that you're utilizing to cook your food, you have to keep away from aluminum pots. That's a killer. Aluminum pots. A lot of people say, okay, I'm health conscious, but when you go and check the pot is an aluminum pot. It's a poison pot. So you can buy all the health food that you're buying, but if you're using the wrong pot, you see, you can be burying yourself in your pot. Rastafari. So it's important, to find the right pot.
And the chewing, like Ras Iqulah is saying, because some of the ancients say that you need to drink your food and chew your drink. Yeah, to chew. Some say 50 times, some say 100 times, but it's important really this chewing. Then there's many aspects. There's the aspect of, there's something in the Chinese clock. I don't know if the item hear about it, but it's your interior clock. And according to that, for us to function as human beings, we should try to eat in those times when our stomach meridian has its most energy, so we can digest food. It's like Ras Julio was saying also, we live in a different type of life, and Iqulah is saying also, we go to bed with a full tummy. It's not working. And the other thing is that if we can learn a simple little thing in our life to go and do our morning routine, morning routine, go to toilet in the morning between 5 to 7. After that, everything will be right. It might take take a week or a month for people to get into that routine, but when you get into that routine, you will see your whole life change. That is the time when your large intestine meridian has its highest energy. That is the best time to let off. Then after that come the stomach meridian, and it's from after 7 to 9 it's good to eat your breakfast. You can deal with a steady breakfast because your stomach meridian has a lot of energy. So if we eat according to the things, it will, it's an inner clock, and one can learn to sense it. And then food is a thing where it's actually a very, very personal thing, because what is good for I, not necessarily good for our next person, even though if it's Ital. So within ourselves, when we come to food, I think we should be sensitive and find out what reaction food has upon us, what the thing we eat and we drink, what effect it has on our thought, and then we know if this thing is good for us or not. Give thanks.
Rastafari.
Azizai, yes. It's like the Rastaman, ancient Rastaman called angel food. Yeah, the angel food. So angel food is what sometimes got consumed, before bingy. If you don't want to fast, but you still want to eat, you eat something light. Angel food is like only veg or fruit without processed stuff. There is no bread. There is not even grains. It's just very, very, very light stuff. They can still sustain you, but it's not too heavy that it will bring your digestion to make you tired, so to speak. So it's very, very important that we stop considering food just a necessity, and we enjoy the process of food intaking, and we tune in. A lot of people is not tuned in into eating. You eat just like you have to put gas in your car. So you have to do it, you go there, you pay, boom, that's it. Then your mind is not there. That is dysfunctional, that is disconnected. While you eat, you're only eating. You're not reading the paper, you're not watching the news, you're not even reading your book. You're eating. So there is something which is called awareness of eating awareness, right? So you are aware of what you are putting in your mouth. You chew it, and it's like you observe every moment that you chew. Yeah, your mouthful. It's like you observe it from the inside, like if you have a little camera inside, and then you feel the food going down. Yes, so that is a communion. It's a communion with the food. This is what we really aspire to. Remember, that we were put here in this beautiful planet Earth not to be victims of food, but to elevate food. So when are we victim and when do we elevate? We are victim of food when we are so hungry and so absent in our mind that, while we're doing other things, we see a piece of a sandwich there and we just grab it and munch it, and then you just run into something else. Then you're not really elevating food and you're not elevating yourself. It's like you enslave yourself under the food. Yeah, the food controls you. But if instead you are mindful, you remain a little bit above your plate, and you know that your plate, it is a product of a combination of factors: the farmer, the soil, the sun, the earth, the water, the love, and so forth, the cooking, if you eat cooked food. And when you intake the food, then you're like, wow, all these different factors, they came together for me, in order to sustain me. So I need to give the right dignity to this plate of food, because it took a lot of energy from the sun, from the creation, from the Almighty, from the cooker, from the chef. A lot of energy is there. So Rastaman stopped giving for granted the things, and food is one of the first things that we must stop giving for granted.
Give thanks, Ras Julio, give thanks. With the food now, you see in the world, it's not just about it's more about the quality than the quantity. There's a lot of, especially in the Western world, we find people being overfed and undernourished. They eat in supermarket food, and they think they can afford it, they eat in much more than is necessary. And returning forward to the subject of chewing, there's another aspect to this thing also, why we should keep whatever we are eating or drinking, we should keep it a little bit longer in our mouth. Why is this? Good, that's part of it. There's another side to it. The spiritual qualities of food, they are released in the mouth. The receiver is the tongue. The tongue is connected with the heart. So spiritual qualities in food, they will release if you keep the food a little longer in your mouth, so they get in contact with your tongue, not just swallow it, but let them stay there for a little while. It's a good thing you're eating right, so let it stay there. Chew it properly, taste it, and whatever spiritual qualities and ites in the food, they will release to the human heart. Give thanks.
It sounds like you have some medical background, because it's very important that when you put the food in your mouth, that enzyme underneath your tongue called ptyalin, P-T-Y-L-I-N, converts all starchy to sugary to be digested. So you're perfectly right, Rastafari. Blessings. Yes. And the next thing in the process of food, also, if you really understand how to create the discipline of meditation, okay? There is a very dangerous vampire that lives within the human temple, and that vampire is called crave. If you know how to kill the crave, you can go for hours without having to think about food. But you can kill the crave by only utilizing the power of the mind to meditate. Just meditate and kill that crave. Because what happened to a lot of people is get fat and can't control themselves. It's the crave. If you know how to kill that crave with your meditation, then you can create the balance with your temple. Very important.
That is why maybe every spiritual tradition of the world has fasting in it. Very important process, but delicate. I mean, you need to know how to approach it. You don't just jump into it and start fast from one morning to one night. Yes. So it's a very delicate thing. Anyway, it's great. The Iqulah mentioned enzymes. I don't know if you have ever ever looked upon what an enzyme is, if you ever Google it or open your science book and so forth, enzymes are something so fascinating and fantastic, which today, 2023, in this technological world, we still cannot picture what an enzyme is. Yet, enzymes are the key for the human digestion, processing of food, intaking your food, and utilizing your food for to produce your health and your strength in your body. In other words, enzymes are some very small, tiny, invisible elements which are contained in fruits and vegetables, fresh stuff. They are so delicate that they can be easily burned at a very low temperature. Yeah, so you don't even need to boil. Even just steaming, if you're not careful, it can just kill the enzymes. Yeah, so when the enzymes are dead, well, you are intaking half of the food. Yeah, it's like you have thrown half of your plate into the rubbish bin. Done, gone. The enzymes, they can easily burn even before boiling temperature, much before boiling temperature. That's why it is of essence to consume raw food. If you don't want to be fully raw food eater, yeah, if you want to still cook, but please make sure that you always add a certain percentage of raw intake, because enzymes, what does the enzyme do? It ignited, it activates the process of food processing within your body. So if you ask any science out there what is an enzyme, he will not be able to tell you, because to nowadays we don't know exactly. We call them elements, but the closest that we went to understanding what an enzyme is calling them electrical activators. The Rastaman and the mystics of food and Mother Earth and creation knows that these enzymes, which the scientists call the electric activators, they are nothing else than the gift of life and vitality. Yeah, something invisible yet essential for make sure that your food get activated and you start to digest. Without the enzymes, you don't digest any longer the food. Yeah, so we need to take care of our enzymes in our food. In order to do this, we have to refrain sometime from boiling, from frying, from cooking. Just go straight to raw. Even if you're not fully raw, make sure that at least 50% of what you eat is raw. 40% can be okay still. Ayman personally is on 70-80% raw, and the rest is a little beans or something. Yeah, but we need to be aware of this. Without the enzymes, you don't elevate the food, because you don't activate the processing of the food. Yeah, so it's purposeless.
Give thanks. So one practical advice now to go through, especially countries where we have a winter where it's hard to find live fresh vegetables, is to do sprouting. I don't know if the idea knows sprouting. Any seed, any beans, any peas can sprout. When we sprout, there's a wonder and magic happens. This seed, this bean, this pea, whatever you are sprouting, suddenly get full of things that wasn't there in its dry state, or if you would boil it just by soaking it. So by sprouting, for instance, bean sprouts, small beans, peas, we increase the value very much, and this is easily digestible. If there's something sprouting Sprite 2-3 days. It's very easily digestible and accessible to the human goodie, the proteins and so forth. That is otherwise might be a little hard to break down. So sprouting is something that I really recommend. You know, it's a way to, and food lasts. It's very cheap actually, because if you would use a half kilo of seed, you could finish that off in a few meals. But in sprouting that can last a couple of weeks. It's very, very, you know, and it's accessible energy straight away. Give thanks.
Yes, I. And you know, remember that you are, well, you have been placed in your Garden of Eden. Yeah? So please make sure that you don't go too far from your Garden of Eden. Yeah, like the ancients say, don't go too far from your kitchen. We're saying the same thing. Yeah, all of I and I have been placed in I and I Garden of Eden. So in the Garden of Eden there were what? Fruits, trees. Yeah, and we know. Yeah, just getting a little bit into the Book of Life shortly. We know that it is only with Noah that humanity, mankind, started to eat flesh. But from Adam to Noah, strictly vegan. That is the way I and I was placed on this little planet Earth, strictly vegan. And Noah's time, after the floods, Noah come out of the ark, whole heap of animals and things. So the Almighty say, all right, hear me now. If you want, you can check some flesh now, but it's up to you. Because I'm, yes, allowing you to have the flesh, but I'm also giving you a next commandment, which is to not take advantage and not create suffering to the animals. So it's up to you how you combine this. The original way of life is vegan. The original way of life is vegetarian, is fruits. We can read in Genesis what are being named to be our food sources. Yeah, fruits, the seed-bearing fruit. Seed-bearing. Book of Life talks about the seed-bearing, which is very, very, very important. Yeah, nowadays we go and buy at the shop some seeds, you know, we put them in the ground, the tree grow tiles, we harvest, and if we pick up the seeds from our fruit that we harvest and we try to plant them again, nothing grows up. It's like them is seedless. Yet they have seed, but those seeds are not active. Yeah? So it's very, very, very important to meditate on all these things. Yes? Give thanks.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. You know, I'm going to tell you a little story about an elder in Jamaica. This man is something else. I tell you, whenever I visit this elder Rasta man, I just keep laughing because he's something else. You know, a friend of mine, he wasn't a Rasta, okay? Used to work with the government. And he keeps telling me that he's not well. He's always ill, you know? He can't wake up in the mornings. He can't get up on time. So I said to him, I recommend him to go to the bush doctor, the elder Rasta man. I start laughing already. So, the elder Rasta man, his name is Bongo Yu, okay? Ancient Bongo Yu. So, I took my brethren to Bongo Yu. So when we went there, Bongo Yu said to him, how is everything? He said, oh, Doc, I just cannot wake in the mornings and I have a lot of nightmares. I'm having a lot of nightmares. I don't know what to do, you know? And so Doc said, explain to me what happened. He said, even very often I'm trying to, you know, I'm sleeping and I get a nightmare that I'm, you know, nightmare that I want to get up and I can't get up. It's like something is holding me down in the bed, you know. He wants to get up but he can't get up. Like something is strangling him, holding him in the bed. So the doc said to him, look, what did you eat yesterday? The virgin said, well, I have a steak, I have some rice and I have some steak. The doc said to him, The doc said to him, you have a steak? He said, yes. He said, but a steak is a whole cow. The steak is a whole cow. Don't you realize that if you consume a cow, the cow is much more heavier than you, and you want to wake and you can't wake, the cow is keeping you down, he's too heavy for you. So I'm just saying the doctor use a lot of humor, you know, sometimes, and this is how our elders, sometimes that's how we learn, you know, they give us nice humor, stories around everything else and teach us. But this doctor was very special because, Bongo, there was this youth that was suffering from cancer, and they said they passed him off in the United States. Say, okay, the cancer take over his body, and they give him like maybe say 3 months to pass away. So I met this pilot, you know, on a flight, and he was telling me about his nephew. So I said to the pilot, well, you try everything in the US, I think you should take this boy to Jamaica and check with this man, Bongo Yu. So he said, okay. I give him my number, and he called me, and then he said he's going to fly to Jamaica. So I pick him up at the airport and take him to Bongo Yu. So this youth was about like 13 years old. And we have to take him out on a stretcher, bring him into Bongo Yu place and everything. And Bongo Yu said to the youth, the youth could hardly talk. He was so weak, you know. And so Bongo Yu said, what, young man, what happened to you? So the youth said, oh, they said I have cancer. So Bongo Yu said, what? He said, cancer. So Bongo said, do you know what is cancer? The youth said, no, you explain. He said, well, Bongo Yu said, well, cancer is a monster, okay? And I'm going to teach you something now. How to catch this monster, put him in a box, lock it, and throw him into the ocean. So the youth said, oh, you know, that's the first time the youth uncle said, it's the first time I've seen the youth smile. Bongo Yu was giving some humor, you know. So Bongo Yu said, okay. The first stage, he goes around the back of his property and he picks some lemon, and he get a bowl with some sugar, and he said to the youth, which one of these you want to eat? He said, try this one. So the youth tried the lime. He said, oh no, I can't take it, it's too sour, you know. So Bongo Yu dip a spoon into the sugar and take a little sugar and say, taste this. Do you like this one? You taste it and say, oh yes. And he said, okay, I see your problem. He said, you see the one that you choose, which is sweet to the mouth, is bitter to the belly. So what you have to do, it's best you choose the lime, because the lime may be bitter to the mouth, but it's sweet to the soul. I know that youth was in Jamaica for about a month, and Bongo Yu get several herbs from the bushes, you know, and boil and give him every day. I was there with this youth, every day. After 3 weeks, the youth could get up and start to walk. I'm telling you. And keep him in Jamaica for 3 months. And then the youth was running around with Ital playing football, you know, running around the place playing football. So we said, okay, the youth is well now. The parents come back for him and take him back to the States, and they run a check. And they check him and they say, oh, the cancer is gone. What happened to this youth? The cancer is gone. It's a miracle in Jamaica. So listen now. The part about it that I have to laugh again about Bongo Yu. So the parents and the uncle and some other aunties, they all fly to Jamaica now to say they have to check this man. So they come to Bongo Yu now and they said to Bongo Yu, man, it's like a miracle. How much do you charge? How much do you charge? Bongo Yu said, what? What? Did I talk to you about money? He said, no. She takes out her checkbook and said, no, we have to pay you something. It's a miracle. We have to pay you something. Bongo Yu said, did I talk to you about money? The lady Went into the car, she come back out. Went back into the car, come back out. Oh, Iqulah, I can't understand this man. He does such a nice work, and you know he doesn't want to accept the money. So she still insists, and she said, "Oh, Bongo, you have to take something." So, how much do you charge? Bongo, you said to her, "Well, since you insist to pay me some money, how much is it to bury a man in the United States of America?" And the lady said, "Maybe $8,000 to $10,000. Bongo said, "Okay." Since you insist, okay.
Yes.
That's it. So, you know, the Rastaman man have been doing this herbal thing for many, many years, man. And, you know, we are living evidence, you know, that, you know, when you eat healthy, eat green, stay green, eat healthy, and have a perfect Ital life. Rastafari blessings.
Yes, I give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. So we're here at question and answers. Does anybody has any question? Anybody has any sharing? Anybody wants to ask anything? Sister, yes, please. Oh, two sisters, great. There is time for both of you, don't worry. Yes, I. Bless, greetings.
Yes, I blessing and give thanks for this reasoning that every day make a sort of process of revolution, of changing. So I'm really living directly with this experience. I'm experienced this Livity transformation or transformation with Jah guidance and with humility. And I saw in a place like this a festival, a reggae festival, a Rastafarian, with a Rastafarian culture like this, that there is very too few possibility to find this raw food and Livity food that should be really a culture that can arrive to us and be passing that kind of education that is basically because I came from the south of Italy where my father used to do olive oil and I know the seeds that I plant and when I eat something that is very that since I was a child, because this is this lifing of a child that give me this kind of joy and reconnaissance of what I'm eating and what is happening to me because I'm transforming this process that you were so good explaining and that is in everywhere. So I think it's the moment in a place like this and where we can meet each other and this culture can be grow and transform this no understanding of the basically nourishment. We cannot accept to have Coca-Cola stand and try to eat something good and with this kind of pass try to charge Babylon. So I try to have a choice every time, and even here I try to come and when I saw each year the House of Rastafari, I know I feel in my I found my family, I feel good, and so give thanks to us, and it's a process because it's not just now. I met Ras Julio, but before I met Ras Julio in his toward his book or toward his word or toward some conferences, it doesn't matter, and even I think I feel that we know each other.
Yes,
and so it's a transmission and how we can act now. This transformation giving more union to all the farmers, like the meeting of Empress. What she is doing, she was here the other days as a farmer, and how we can transmit this with our, and in a place like this, yes, I give thanks.
Yes, I blessings, blessings. Give thanks, sister. Well, surely what we're trying to do here is exactly to transmit, trying to share with the people a different approach to food, so that, you know, we cannot go, and we should not, and we don't want to go into each one kitchen and check the kitchen, you know. That's not our job, you know. But each one should be responsible for his own kitchen, and the things that get discussed here maybe can inspire once and once, you know, when you go back home and say, all right, instead of 5 minutes, let me spend 10 minutes when I go to the shop, so I can check the labels properly. Yeah, I can read the ingredients, I can see how much protein, how much this, how much that, where the food has been grown, and so forth. So it's very, very, very important. Just as important is to eat by seasons. Eat according to your season. There is no point in having watermelon in February. There is no point in having a green cabbage or kale, yeah, in the middle of the summer. So eat by season. Yes, I. The sister had another question. You had another question, sister?
I grew up on a farm, but I never lived in New York City. And it's a very fast-paced medical community where so it's sorry. Thank you. Thank you for your teachings. Thank you so much. I agree with everything. It's so blessed to hear this and remind me to chew and live and eat the live food when I can and not cook. So I live in New York now, and it's so fast-paced. I work in a medical community where it's just nonstop stress, and it's hard. We don't have microwaves. I'm like, good, I don't use microwaves anyway. But how do you suggest someone who's always in a fast-paced, you know, I try to prepare my food ahead of time, take it in a Tupperware with me, but is there any kind of like fast foody, like health food, Ital? Like I go with hummus and peanut butter, but I don't know, you know what I'm saying.
Bless, bless, bless.
I think it's the mind state also to it. You know, when it comes to fast food, the Rastas men said the meaning of fast food is this: it is prepared quick, you eat it quick, and you die quick. That is fast food. So Rastaman in general, we deal with slow food, slow cooking. And obviously, if one don't have much time to spare, one still can put in that love and energy to do something more simple without spending too much time in the kitchen. Not true?
And even if you have to eat on your workplace, you have very limited time. Just make it something special. Yeah, don't just eat while you're doing other things. You know, one hand you eat, the next hand you do your things. Just make it something special. Go into a next room, into one corner, even if you're staring the wall, even if it's only you, yeah, just make it a meditation, make it a special moment. It is sacred, yeah, so the sacredness of it will produce the peace out of it. The sacredness of it will automatically produce vitality, health. So you can be anywhere, but you can create a moment for food, your special moment for food, anywhere. It all starts from your mind. Give thanks and praises. So we are about to seal the reasoning of today. Has been very nice as usual, and we're gonna talk tomorrow on the same subject, well, similar subject. We're gonna talk about medicinal herbs, roots, and roots tonic. Yeah, the panel of tomorrow is dedicated to roots tonic. This beverage, Rasta beverage, which can enhance your structure, your mental, your physical, your spiritual body. So tomorrow with Ital and Ras Ibi, we're gonna reason about the ingredients, how to prepare, the history behind the root tonic, and how to enrich your life using these herbs. So until such time, have a wonderful afternoon, have a wonderful evening, enjoy your rest of the time and enjoy your food. Remember that food is there to be your medicine, and the medicine can only be your food. So Rastafari blessings to one and all. More life, more strength, more Haile Selassie vibrations.
Yeah, man. One other thing, right? Ones and one must exchange connection and stay connected. Okay? It's important when we can stay connected, because then we develop a family. See, a conscious family and a conscious path. And then maybe one day we can all get together and do a nice cultivation in a garden. So let's stay connected. You never know. Rastafari. Blessings.
You can ask Rototom.